Sometime around 2020-2021, the internet erupted with fan edits of men, both real and fictional. This trend was christened the men written by women. This dreamy man had some, if not all, of the following qualities. He listens when spoken to. He can comprehend and reciprocate complex emotions. He makes a woman feel seen. He is unthreatened by intelligence and success. He is scandalized in his BuzzFeed Thirst Tweets video.
Hassan makes my... Alright, we're not gonna do this.
This man is quite similar to the swoon-worthy men actually written by women authors. Most importantly, Jane Austen's Mr. Darcy, who has been every woman's desire and dream in his adapted avatars. And trust me, there have been many. These thoughtful and sensitive men say things like,
"Time makes many changes."
And
you'll meet some man, a good man, and you will love him tremendously.
And do things like,
"Allow me to escort you home."
Closer home, Indian equivalents have also begun to crop up. Actors who are not ashamed of PDA and loudly and proudly appreciate their partners. A certain Coffee with Karan episode with Vicky Kaushal and Siddharth Malhotra, dozens of Juhi Chaturvedi, Anuja Chauhan and Zoya Akhtar characters, and the evergreen king of romance have been collectively accepted as our very own men written by women. Now we admittedly don't know any of these men on a personal front. So our gaze on them is actually framed from our own craving for a love which is kind, supportive, and respectful. It might point to the fact that men in real life just haven't been able to love women the way we want to be loved, leaving fictional characters or celebrities we can project our fantasies on as the only worthy men. So what is behind this gap between expectation and reality? Feminist scholar Jane Ward's work might give us a cue. She came up with the phrase the tragedy of heterosexuality to refer to the big gap of tenderness, care, and reciprocity that straight people, especially women, experience in heterosexual relationships. It has taken many forms through the ages, but today modern romance seems to have settled on online dating as its primary medium. And this era of hyper-optimizing ourselves for a right swipe has erased a lot of the softness, compassion, and care that relationships need. Even as women have more agency in living out their romantic lives, this potential for freedom is undermined by the kind of men we meet. And what is the perfect solution to this collective angst? Taking attractive and sensitive male celebrities and what little we know of them and projecting our deeper fantasies of being seen, listened to, and cared for onto them. One could say we rewrite these men to make them, as the TikTokers put it eloquently, men written by women. The concept of the tragedy of heterosexuality, and yes, I am now obsessed with this phrase and will be using it extensively, also makes us think of the relationship between feminism and masculinity. There's the aggressive and dominant alpha man, and in contrast, there's the soft boy. The man written by a woman walks on a tightrope between these two. He carries the best traits of both these types of men. He's in touch with his emotions to appeal to a woman's intellectual sensibilities, but is also protective and traditionally masculine enough that he appeals to the sensibilities we've all grown up with. But what makes this phenomena interesting from a feminist perspective? Well, to understand why it's a feminist issue, let's look at the inverse of this concept, the infamous woman written by a man, which becomes subtropes such as the manic pixie dream girl or the bimbo. Both women written by men and men written by women tropes are the direct embodiments of the male and female gaze and their collective fantasies. But while the former reduces real women to the sum of their parts, the latter is an attempt to redeem real men by infusing their fictional selves with more warmth, sensitivity, and compassion. In other words, the men written by women trope simultaneously paints a utopian vision of what masculinity could be, while also highlighting the tragedy of masculinity in real life and how it hurts the women in men's lives. So maybe it's time to introspect a little on the disappointment that lies behind this seemingly cheerful trend, forcing us to think through the fundamental problem with heterosexual norms around love and romance. Which celebrity do you see as having been written by a woman? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to the Swaddle for more.